Would you like to be able to read Thai? Do you think it's just too difficult to learn? If I was to show you that reading Thai to a basic level, which is very useful, isn't actually that difficult, would you be interested? If so, these tutorials could be for you. Hello and welcome to the first of my Learning to Read Thai video tutorials. These tutorials are meant to supplement some tutorials I've had on my website for about 10 or 11 years. It always seemed a good idea to make some videos because firstly, people like watching videos these days, and secondly, when you're talking about the sound that words make, it's much better to be able to hear them than just describe them in words. I was going to start this video with quite a long spiel about why it's useful to be able to read Thai. But then I thought, there's no point. If you live in Thailand permanently, or if you visit Thailand often, and you can't see the need for being able to read, it means that you're not going to be very motivated to learn to read. And if you want success in learning, you need to have some motivation. So these videos are really aimed at people who understand the need, but probably think that it's too difficult. I hear lots of reasons from foreigners why Thai is too difficult to learn, and that prevents them from starting to learn. And today I thought I would just try to dispel a few myths. The first one I hear is that English only has 5 vowels and 21 consonants, whereas Thai has 44 consonants and something like 32 vowels. So they think because there's so many more, it's going to be more difficult to learn. This isn't actually quite true. It's a bit of a myth. When I taught Thai students English, it became very obvious how difficult a language English is because it's so inconsistent. English uses the same vowels for different sounds. For example, the words but, B-U-T, and put, P-U-T, should rhyme, but they don't. The U sound in either word is different. English uses the same consonants for aspirated and non-aspirated sounds. So if you put your hand to your mouth and say put, you'll feel a puff of air. If you do the same thing and say super, you won't feel the puff of air on the P in super because it's not aspirated. Thai has different consonants for aspirated and non-aspirated consonants. It's actually a lot better writing system than English. It's quite consistent, and different sounds have different consonants and vowels. So don't let that fact put you off. It's actually a good thing. The other thing about Thai, compared to say Japanese or Chinese, it's just consonants and vowels, like English. I could probably learn to read Japanese or Chinese if I put my mind to it, but I think it would be very, very difficult. With Thai, it's just consonants and vowels. The vowels aren't always written after the consonant as they are in English. Sometimes they're written before, sometimes above, sometimes below, sometimes they surround the consonant, but it's all consistent. It isn't done randomly. The same vowel is always written the same way. There are no spaces between words in Thai. So when you look at a sentence of written Thai, it's just one long string of characters. It looks quite difficult. But when you get to grips with reading Thai, then you start to begin to be able to separate the words quite easily. That's not a problem. The other question you might ask is, would it not be better to learn to read Thai from a Thai? With speaking, I would definitely agree. All foreigners who learn Thai have an accent, and if they're anything like me, they get their tones wrong as well. So you don't want to be learning from someone who has an accent and gets the wrong tone. So learn to speak from a Thai. With writing and reading, I would actually recommend learning from a foreigner. The Thai education system gets quite a bad rap because it's based on rote learning. Thais are told something by their teacher, they remember it and then regurgitate it in an exam. They don't ask why, they're not encouraged to ask why. When I started to learn to read, I had lots of questions and I thought the best people to ask were Thais. So I asked them and they could never give me an answer, never. I had to find out from other sources. Because when I come across something I don't understand, I want to know why. Thais won't necessarily want to know why. They just accept things for how they are. So learn reading from a foreigner. The other thing is remembering. You've got all these new vowels and consonants in a completely different script to remember. So how do you remember those? Well, going back to the Thai education system, which is rote learning. Rote learning isn't completely bad. It's actually very good if you just need to remember things. When I was at school, I learnt my times tables and lots of spelling by rote learning. I don't need to think why 7 9s are 63. I just need to know that they are. So rote learning is quite good. In Thailand, you can buy books which are designed for very young Thai children, and inside there are just outlines of letters that you can trace. And this is how my kids learn at a Thai school. They just write out a whole page of the same letter. And if you do that, then you'll find that you'll be able to remember it. They're very easy to obtain in Thailand and very cheap. If you're not in Thailand, I can give you a link on my website where you can download some worksheets to do the same thing. That's a good way to remember. Finally, just what's my proposed teaching style when I begin my actual tutorials. Initially, I just plan to do maybe a single consonant and a single vowel, or maybe a couple of vowels. I don't want to scare people off by doing too much at first, so it will be small step by small step, which will hopefully grow into something big. I will just do the writing and explaining myself on a whiteboard, and I will also have a native Thai speaker to do the speaking to make sure that the tones and everything are correct. If I say something, it probably won't be completely correct. It may be my wife, or it may be another Thai person. So that's about it. If you have any questions, put a comment below, and the first of my tutorials should appear fairly soon. So I hope you come back for some more.